Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being a music journalism site, links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Steps. Yes, they're on a comeback and this is their latest track. Yes, I was worried for it, but we'll get into that in a little bit. And it's their latest track, Scared of the Dark. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So going into this track, I was worried, and worried for good reason. Being a late 90s kid, 97 kid, I guess you could say, I hated the 90s and especially early 2000s pop scene. It was full of novelty garbage and it wasn't meant to last a test of time. Steps were like the reincarnation of ABBA, but even more brightly coloured and slightly less Swedish. I wasn't a fan of ABBA when they were around. Well, rather, it was way before I was born, but still, I've never been a fan of their music, and Steps obviously really didn't appeal to me at all. However, I'm going into this new track with an open mind, so shall we see what I thought of it? Well, you know what? It really wasn't that bad, if I'm honest with you. It's probably one of the better pop tracks I've actually heard thus far this last fortnight. Sure, it's got those cheesy and novel elements that made the group famous way back when, but the vocal performance is incredibly strong on this track, and the instrumental progressions are surprisingly exploratory, and the song is actually fairly well written in general. Sure, the lyrics are flat out bad, and the melodies are pretty darn outdated, but the way they have been vocalized and dramatized by Claire clearly showcases that they still have some major talent in this group. As for the rest of the group, I can't really hear what they did at all on this track, but hey ho, I didn't necessarily mind that. Production-wise, the song sounds modern while still keeping influences of that late 90s average production cycle. The happy hardcore-like beat keeps thudding away in the low ground with a deep and wholesome kick, which I did think severely lacked an edge to it, but then that's just a 90s style really. The piano sounds fairly decent, but a little plastic and over-programmed. The orchestral pads, or whatever the mid-ground was actually full of, actually worked fairly well to fill that stereo field, but just lacked that recognisable tone to remember and even, like I said, recognize. It was just a strange sound really, and the song has clearly got elements that are weighted on both the negative and the positive side of mixing, but I'm going to look more at the positives really. The vocals do actually sound great here, and I'm glad they've been left somewhat raw and organic. However, were there even harmonies on this track? I felt like I heard some every now and then by the rest of the group, but they were so quiet in the mix that they often drifted in and out of the sort of weird mid-ground that I mentioned earlier, so who knows, eh? Musicality-wise, the song is pretty well written, really. I liked how the piano progression lasted much longer than your usual 4-chord routine. I liked how the vocal melodies explored 16-bar sequences rather than just being the same 4 bars repeated over and over again. I liked how separated each section was and the concentration on simplistic yet professional transitions, and I thought the song in general is far more complex than your average modern-day pop track. As I mentioned earlier, the vocal performance is actually really good and really powerful, and when you actually crank the track up, Claire can really knock your socks off with her vocal performance. The song's hook, though, is a little bit cheesy, I will say that, and the song form didn't really allow for much development here before the final climax, making the song's chorus seem a little bit more repetitive than it actually was, but again, it's just been written fairly well. Lyrically, however, the track really is quite bad and outdated, and I guess it's not as bad as, say, Maggie Lindman's latest track, so hey, it could have been worse. So all in all, a pretty decent track in the grand scheme of things, and one which I think fans are going to absolutely love after all this time of waiting. They deserve it. So I gave it a G rating of 7 out of 10, which is well above average. So if you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.